Hello, Brian Weeks here again with another MMCD contract consideration. This video clip will cover the topic of responding to a RFQ. This is a companion video to the two titled The Contemplated Change Order and Issuing a Change Order. The Contemplated Change Order video went through the change order process and gave some suggestions on how to prepare a simple and complete contemplated change order. This video will review the requirements for a quotation and the implications of a qualifier that a contractor may add. One point to review is that the CA can only require a quotation for items which would be a change, not for extra work. In the example in the CCO video, the CCO was for potential addition that would be classified as extra work. This video will continue that example on the basis that the contractor chose to respond with a formal quotation. So, what is a formal quotation? This term is defined in General Condition 9.2.3, which says, any written price quotation submitted by the contractor for a change, a contemplated change order, field memo, or for extra work shall, unless expressly stated otherwise in the quotation, be interpreted to represent the total adjustment to the contract price excluding GST and the contract time owing on account of the work contemplated by the quotation. And for certainty, A shall be interpreted to include compensation on account of all related costs, including, but not limited to, all direct, indirect, impact, head office, overhead, and all other costs, and all markups and profits, even if the quotation does not specifically mention such things. And B shall be interpreted to have considered all effects on the contract time. And if there's no mention in the quotation of a required extension to the contract time, then the quotation shall be interpreted to mean that the contractor will complete the work covered by the quotation without any adjustment to the contract time. So clearly, the MMCD anticipates that the owner will be able to use the quotation to have some certainty about what the proposed work will cost and how much delay it may cause to the overall schedule. However, a contractor who knows the MMCD will usually add a condition to the quotation which would provide the possibility of a review under GC 9.2.4. That clause says, once a quotation is accepted by the contract administrator or other agreement reached between the CA and the contractor regarding adjustments to the contract price or contract time on account of a change or extra work, the contractor shall not be entitled to claim or receive additional payment or an adjustment to the contract time on account of the change or extra work unless at the time of the agreement the contractor expressly reserved in writing the right to claim for an additional payment or contract time adjustment. Well, that seems to negate GC 9.2.3. But the purpose of GC 9.2.4 is to uphold the MMCD principle of fairness. Nobody's crystal ball is perfect. Circumstances can change which may not be foreseeable at the time of quoting. For example, perhaps a series of individually minor changes combined to extend the project into a bad weather period so that one of them could not be done until the following spring. This could not have been predicted when the minor changes were first quoted, so it's appropriate to consider the resulting additional costs and delay. As always, the CA will make the initial decision, which can be appealed through the dispute process should the contractor not agree. While GC 9.2.4 gives the contractor the right to make a claim, there is no guarantee that the CA will find the contractor's case persuasive. But providing the protection of GC 9.2.4 has been invoked, the CA must listen and fairly evaluate the case presented. Without the invocation of GC 9.2.4, GC 9.2.3 makes the quotation final and not subject to any review requirement. So now let's return to the example. Through the CA, the owner has asked for a quotation to build a retaining wall. As you can see from the drawing, this work will require some unspecified quantity of grade work to reach final slopes. The CA issued contemplated change order number 23.1, which identified 4 stages of the work being considered. Number 1, excavate and dispose unnecessary existing soil. Number 2, supply and install a block wall complete with 2 geotextile layers. Number 3, supply and install the drain rock layer complete with the perforated drain pipe. And number 4, slope and grade the remaining soil and hydroseed the final grade. The contractor chose to quote as shown here. Let's look at some of the highlighted points. The contractor has provided a quotation number which will make it easy to refer to this document. The contractor has specifically linked this quote to the number and the revision date of the contemplated change order. Note that the contractor has not repeated the scope of the work or conditions, so there's no misunderstanding what will be done if the quotation is accepted. The contractor has offered 2 pricing options. The first one's a fixed price to eliminate the owner's risk, and the second one is where the unquantified work is done at a unit price with a lump sum for the balance. This would reduce the contractor's risk and potentially the owner's cost. The contractor has identified the time extension requested under each of the 2 pricing options. To reduce the owner's cost, the contractor has offered an alternative drain rock for consideration. The contractor has signed and dated the quotation to clearly make it a legal document, and the contractor has invoked GC 9.2.4 to protect its rights should unforeseen circumstances arise. This is a complete and simple quotation, meeting the requirements of the contemplated change order and GC 9.2.3 and 9.2.4. The ball's now back in the CA's court. Remember, however, since this is a quotation for extra work, the owner does not have to even consider the quotation, let alone negotiate it. The owner can choose to have this work done by its own forces or by a separate contractor, although this may impose reimbursable costs on the prime contractor if the new contractor or owner's forces cause any interference or delay. The contractor does not have to negotiate this quotation should the owner wish to do so. Nevertheless, should the contract administrator accept this quotation on behalf of the owner, it becomes a legally binding agreement for both parties, and the contract will be modified accordingly via a change order. So, to summarize, the CA can only require a quotation for potential changes, not for extra work. Even in response to a contemplated change order, quotations for extra work need not lead to an agreement if either party chooses not to proceed or negotiate. GC 9.2.3 requires a quotation to be complete as to cost and time changes. If no time change is listed, it'll be assumed to be 0. Invoking GC 9.2.4 in writing enables the contractor to protect its rights to subsequently bring forward a case for additional cost or time should unforeseen circumstances arise. Like the contemplated change order, a quotation should follow the say at once principle and not repeat facts, but rather refer to the source of the facts, the CCO and its included documents. I hope this has helped clarify this contract consideration. Please check our website for further assistance and to see what other topics are presented in this series. Thanks for watching.